Right, okay. So, because, let me someone because I was saying to Adele the other day, this time of year is where you can either sit still or move forward. And do you know how many people are sitting still right now? It's funny because a lot of people are looking forward to the new year, new me, and all that rubbish. So this time of year is like the point. This month is a long month, especially if you've got kids. It's a long month, right? But this month can be a complete, I would say, waste for most people because they're looking for they're looking forward to Christmas, then they're looking to the new year. They're not doing anything. Not doing anything. They're just existing. And you can really use this time, December, January, to really get ahead on your goals. Really, really you can really propel yourself forward because while other people are thinking about the goals, you're already committed to them. So if anyone's like going to implement a new goal, I would do it now rather than waiting to the new year. That new year, new me rubbish never works. It works if you can do it. The only time it works is if it's intentional. So what I mean by that is if you've gone through the year but you've set goals throughout the year, that's the only time it works. But all these people that go, oh, I'm going to wait till the new year to do this. Yeah, all right then. Of course you are. You're going to wait until the new year to do it for a little while, foul, and then make a load of excuses of why you didn't do it. That's what's going to happen. So tonight I'm going to give the cheat codes, some of the cheat codes to success. And like these cheat codes, I wish I knew. You know, like if anyone played Grand Theft Auto, I haven't played games for a long time, but remember you get like them, you get like the code, you put it in, and it's like, you know, the car drops down from the sky, and then you get all the money. And all this is what it's like when you understand how simple it can be to be successful at something. So I want to run through some of them, not all of them, and not in any order either, but some of the things that I believe you can use to make that journey to success much simpler, easier, and more enjoyable. So the first one is get yourself a mentor. And whatever that looks like, so whatever that looks like in whatever space, and I'll always do it now, and I'll continue to do it. So, for example, if there's a new hobby that I pick up, if I stop cycling and I start playing squash or something crazy like that, I will go and search for someone who's got the results in squash that I want. That will be what I'll always do. I'll look for someone who's got the results that I want, not the qualifications, not the bit of paper that says they've studied squash, not all that. For me, it's the results. So I want to see the results. If that person's got the results that I want, clearly they know something that I don't. So obvious, right? Do you know the amount of people that will look at someone's qualifications? So I always use this, and I get this. I've had this conversation with a lot of people actually, but if you look at the British cycling structure, there's loads of British cycling certified coaches, okay? And most of them probably have never raced a bike in their life, let alone won a bike race. However, what they have done, they've studied about winning a bike race and they've got a qualification. So if you've got someone over here who's got no qualifications, but they've won, they know what it takes to win. On the other hand, you've got someone who's read about winning and they've got a qualification. For me, the choice is very clear. I'll go to the person who's won, not the person who's read about winning. But do you know the amount of people that will go to the person who's read about winning just because they've got a certificate that says Bob Jones is certified level 2 British cycling coach? And that's what they'll do. So first one is get yourself a mentor in whatever area it is. Qualify them. For me, the qualification is the results they've got. And then you go, all right, I'm going to do whatever it takes. and you just listen to them. That's it. You don't question it. You don't put your thinking into it. You don't put your emotions into it. You don't. Basically, you remove yourself out of the way. That's the easiest way to get results the quickest. Is to go, anything that I think I know, I'm going to move to one side. I'm going to park that over there. And then I'm going to jump on the bus and I'm going to sit there. I'm not going to stop until I get to the end destination. What happens with most people is they get on the bus at the first stop and then they're pressing the bell. Whoa, I want to get off, want to get off. Why am I doing this? Why have I not done this? Shouldn't I be doing that? Okie dokie. That's the first thing. Letting someone in. So the first step is finding someone. The second step is letting yourself to let them in. And that's the second bit, I think, is where a lot of people struggle with that. And it's where I definitely struggled 100%, was that element of like letting go of the will, as it were, taking your thinking out of the equation. But honestly, it's so much easier. I can't stress enough how much simpler the journey can be towards hitting your goal if you just move yourself out of the way. As soon as you move yourself out of the way, there's a direct correlation between your results going up the way. That's not by coincidence. Your results have got you to where you are now. So if you knew what that person knew, you would have done it already. Lean not on your own understanding, exactly as Mr. Big put there in the chat. Lean not on your own understanding. It's so simple, but one of the most probably, it depends on your personality, but I'd say you really do have to open up to let a mentor be effective. And when you found a good mentor, you'll know, because someone who's a good mentor is also the best student. They'll be the best student. So if the best way of knowing if your mentor is a good mentor is, does their mouth do the talking or does the feet do the talking? If you've got someone can talk the talk for sure, but is it the talking or the action? So they're someone, and your mentor can be in anything, but you've still got to connect with them. You've still got to, like, for example, if you had a mentor in cricket, for example, but there was something about him that, I don't know, he was always late, or I don't know, something like this, like a personality trait where you're like, you've got to be able to go look at that person and go, God, they're pretty well, they've got their shit together, haven't they? You know, they've got their shit together. I want to follow that person. And that's essentially what you're doing, because you're leaning, as Andrew put in the chat, you're leaning on their understanding. So you've got to be able to trust them to follow them. Second thing is 1% better. I mean, percentage can be 0.5%, 0.1%. Aim to be a bit better every day. Just a little bit. We're not talking, we don't have to go from 0 to 100 real fast. We just want to get a little bit better every day. And that can be in the smallest things. But what happens over time, if that 0.1% builds up, builds up, builds up, builds up, builds up over a year, that looks like a lot. If you're going negative 0.1%, same thing, isn't it? Slowly, but slowly, but slowly, but slowly, confidence gets knocked, routine gets knocked, start going backwards. So if you can just get a little bit better every day, don't aim to go 0 to 60 in half a second. Go through the gears, work your way up to speed, relax, take your time, have urgency with your goals, but patience with yourself. So be urgent with your goals, but then be patient with yourself. So I think I've used the diet in one before, but loads of people start diets and they'll do a diet for a week and go, well, I haven't lost anything. Right? Or they'll start training. Well, I didn't get any fitter. Yeah, because you've been doing it for a week. You didn't get a pro at playing PlayStation in a week, did you? Well, you didn't complete Netflix in a week. takes time. Give yourself time. Success is built in a crock pot, not a air fryer or microwave. Microwave's better, but air fryers are pretty rapid though. So you gotta put it in there and let it sink. Let it sink. Let it swirl around. You know, let it swirl around. I was warming up a chain in some God, what is it, wax, and like I put it into the crock pot and I like come back 10 minutes later and I was like, it's still hard. Like prodding it, it's like it's getting there. Come back like half an hour later. Oh, it's getting there slowly. It's a crock pot. It takes a long time. I was looking at it like it was a microwave. I wanted it now. I wanted the chain to be waxed right there and then. I wanted it to be Amazon Prime. I want it delivered by 10 o'clock tonight. You know, pay $1.99. It comes tonight now. Belief system. Your belief system of you is a mirror of it. What you see when you look in the mirror. That person you see in the mirror is a reflection of your belief system. So if you look at yourself in the mirror and you go, yeah, I'm a winner. Say it. Say it. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm a winner. Very uncomfortable for most people to do. Do you look at yourself and go, yep, I'm a winner. I know I'm a winner. Or do you look at yourself and go, you've got to change that. Because you know when people lose weight and it's a visually noticeable, that's like a pin which cements whatever they've done to lose that weight. The visual thing is the pin in that. So you can have someone, I don't know if you've ever met someone that they'll and you can even hear it in the voice. They'll go, you know, I lost a stone, but it doesn't look like it. But I lost a stone. I look great. I look great. Like my belt's gone in. So how you look at yourself is also how other people look at you. So if you look at yourself in the mirror and go, oh man, I'm a bit scruffy. You know, beard needs to try a trim. Hair's a bit of a mess. What you see is what other people see. So if you look at the mirror and go, bloody hell, mate, you know, come on, sort yourself out. That's what other people see. So you look at yourself and go, carry yourself the way you want to see other people see you. If you see yourself as a winner, other people see you as a winner. That's it. If you see yourself as a loser, guess what? Other people are going to see that too. It's a bit like, you know, when I was watching this thing, I saw a glimpse of this thing because I was watching it because I knew someone was in this documentary. It was about prisons. And they know like when someone's walking into a prison, whether they're going to look after themselves or not without speaking. Why is that? Because the way you carry yourself. It's the way you look. It's the way you act. It's the way you're sort of looking around. It's like that's the same thing with winning and being confident. If you're at a bike race and you're like, you know, you're not at the front of the line. It's all about the way you look. Like people look at you and think, oh man, I'm not getting in the way of that guy. I'm not getting in the way of that guy. Or you're in the bunch and you're like, you're letting people know you're there and people know you're there. People are gonna leave you alone. Trust me. People are gonna leave you alone. If someone says something to you and you tell them something, they ain't gonna come back. So you've got to carry yourself the way you know the way you want others to see you. Comparison, and this is one that I'm always having to constantly improve, because comparison, it will always be the thief of all joy, and the comparison can come in all shapes and sizes, at any levels. It will come and slap you when you least expect it. You're basically comparing yourself. You'll always be comparing yourself to a position you've been in before. A scenario you've been in before, a weight, a class, you know, a level of something, an FTP number, a this, a that, a blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on and on. And all it does is, if you don't control it, is what are you doing? Is have a negative effect. So that's why when a lot of people, they love doing FTP tests. I never do them. I never do them. I don't. I've done them obviously, but I mean I've done them. I can count on one hand how many times I've done them. I'll do everything around them, and I go near that area, but I'll never do an FTP test. Why? Because in my opinion, there's only two results that will come out of it: a negative and a positive. Normally a negative, because what will happen is you'll look at the last 20-minute P bit or whatever it was, 20-minute test, and it was that. Sure, if you beat it, great. But what if you don't? What if you don't? Massive negative impact, because then you start questioning everything. Just don't do it. You can get near that, and you can get a feel for if you're gonna be able to, you can do 15s, you can do 18s, you can go near it, but don't ever do it. That's just that for me, it's a mindset thing, and they're horrible, right? Let's not beat around the bush. They are bloody horrible. No one likes doing them. If you like doing them, you're lying. I'm sorry, I'm not having it. So and the good thing about not knowing what it is your body will always surprise you. And that's why when I tell people, I'm talking about cycling specific now, but when I've done some of my best numbers with like longer efforts off the back of a real fatiguing block. And that, what I mean by block is it could be like 3 months of fatigue build up into like a real long week, and you'll hit your best 20-minute power number. How can that be possible? How does that work? And I always tell people when they're doing them, don't look at power. I never look at power when I'm doing max efforts. I never look at it. Because again, that's hot. Come away from it, mate. It can only have a negative impact. Come on, come past. It can only have a negative impact because you'll get into it. Really affects me personally on longer efforts. If you're into a 20-minute effort and you're trying to hold 400 watts and you're 5 minutes in, or even less than that, a minute in, and you're looking down at your Garmin, you're like, man, this 400 feels hard. That's 19 more minutes you've got of that, and you're like, lost it. You've lost it mentally. It's gone. Already gone. Already lost it. So I much prefer to just ride into it. I just ride like no power, ride a feel, and I've always done the best numbers I'll ever do, because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know the numbers. So you do what you're able to. Might be worse, it might be better. But your body will always push through. Your body will always push through. 95% mindset, 5% strategy. That's the way it'll always be. Goals. Obviously, goals, everyone knows I always bang on about goals, but I think it's important to, because I think a lot of people say they've got goals, but have you really? Have you got your goals where you can see them? Do you read them out loud every day? Do you think about them every day? Are you emotionally involved with them every day? Do you lay in bed thinking about it? Like them goals? Do you see yourself at the end goal? That's what it means. That's what it means to have a goal. It's not just a thing you sort of throw out. What's your goal? Oh, I know. I'm going to do coast to the coast next year, and that might be your goal. But then if that's a real challenging goal for you, you want to be thinking about it all the time, because your goal will give you direction. It will give you the answers to say yes and no to. Goals give you so much direction. It's crazy. Like the thing I'm a very very spontaneous person, but goals give me that. No, I'm not going to do that because of this. I'm not going to go and do that because that will impact my goal. I'm not going to stay up late because that'll impact that. It's just it gives you direction, and that for me was always struggling. I was always struggling with that, not having a clear, defined goal that I'm thinking about all the time, writing down, and I'm emotionally involved with. Speak it more often. Speak your goal more often. Like speak about it. Don't be scared to say it. Speak about it. The more you speak about it, the more chance you've got to bring it to life. So if you're the only person who knows about your goal, it's probably not a goal. It's probably just a wish. You want to be saying, screaming and shouting about it within reason. But what I mean is, don't be scared to say, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to achieve. It's very similar to accountability. You know, when you say something out loud or say it in the group, like I've said to Adele a few times, stick it in the group. I mean, I even do it sometimes. I do it myself. I'll stick in the group chat. I'm doing this ride tomorrow. Not for me. Sorry, not for others, for me. Because then if I'm doing it, if I said I'm doing it, I've got to do it. I've got to get up in the morning and I've got to do it. So some people might think, oh, he's inviting me. Yeah, of course I'm inviting you, but I'm really doing it for myself. I'm really doing it. So I'm like, I'm going to get up, I'm going to do that because I know I've put it in the group. So if someone sees I haven't done it, oh my, what's that going to look like? You know, you've got to look at it like that. Do it for accountability. Adele put in the chat, I found the goals I've been setting really helpful to keep me on track. They're not huge goals, but smaller goals to build me up towards the bigger goal. Exactly, and that is really really key. You've got to that Atomic Habits is really good at explaining that, and taking the system is really important as well. But that is essentially the little goals I see as the system to the bigger goal. That's my interpretation of it. The smaller goals are the system. That's what creates them habits. That's what is the stepping stone path to the bigger goal, and that's why the system to get into the bigger goal is important. The words you speak really important. So the way you speak about yourself, the way essentially the way what you say about, because what you say is what you bring to life. So people say I'm rubbish at giving directions. You'll always be rubbish at giving directions until you say I'm great at giving directions. Of course, you're not going to be great straight away, but the more you say things, the more you bring it to life. So the more you keep on saying, I am this, whatever follows I am follows you. Fact, simple. That's it. So be careful with what you say. Be selective with your words. I am a winner. That's why I loved it when Andrew was doing I think it was it was the TT actually. It felt like a social, but it was doing the TT and he was saying, repeat after me, I am a winner. It's powerful. I am going to get through this. You know, that inner conversation that you have with yourself. Framing's a really, really important one. It's perspective, framing, same sort of thing. How do you look at something? Two people looking at the same picture. One person sees the sunny beach, the other person sees the black and white doom and gloom. Why is that? That's the way you frame something, the way you look at something, your perspective on something. So if you seek for the positive, you'll always find positive. If you look for negative, you'll always find negative. Again, simple, but unless you're aware of it, you won't know about it. So you can have the two people with the same routine, the same job. Why is it one person loves their job and loves their life, the other person hates their life? One person enjoys the exact same job and is bubbly, friendly, outgoing, loves what they do. The other person hates it. Perspective framing. Repetition. So repetition is really, really key for obvious reasons. You don't get good at something straight away. It's the same as I was saying about the 1%, you know, the small increments of getting better. You don't practice things till you get it right. You practice till you can't get it wrong. So the more you do something, the better you'll get it. Again, I know it sounds simple, but you've really got to. Everything that I'm talking about really comes down to awareness, because it's not like any of this stuff is like, oh, that's sort of like off the map. It's not. It's all basic stuff, real basic, but so success. But a lot of people don't get it, and it's because they miss all the simple stuff. They wanna get to the end goal, but then they miss all the things that it takes to get there. Like when people, there'll be successful people in all walks of life, and when it comes down to it, the things they do to be successful won't be anything different, won't be anything like astronomical. But what it will be is it'll be consistent. They'll do it on repeat, and it'll be intentional. most people, you say, okay, all right, cool, let's do it. We want to do this. Can you do this for me? Can you fit in 10 minutes of something this? Can you do 5 minutes of that? No, I ain't got time for that. Or whatever it may be. Okay, well, look, how can you sit there and say you want to be successful, something, but you're not willing to do what it takes to be successful? Consistency, massive consistency. Doesn't have to be consistently like up there, but if it's consistent, it builds that. It builds you as a person. The more you say you're going to do something, and the more you do it, the more robust you become as a person. Works the same in diabetes management. The more times you say you're going to do something and don't, chances are you're probably not going to do it. If you keep on saying you're going to update your basal rates, but you don't, probably not going to do it. If you become consistent with doing it, you'll probably always do it. It's a habit. And the last one that I wanted to, there's quite a few there. The last one is paradigm shift. So shifting your paradigm, which all of them can coincide with that. But paradigm shift is where so there's only two ways you can shift the paradigm. One is by a tragic event or something like that, or all of the above. So all of the above or tragic event. So just to give an example, some people, I think I've spoke about this before, but it can be like a tragic event. It can be something, a scary, something, a health scare. I'm sure we all know someone they might have been, I keep on coming back to the overweight thing. That's the only thing I can think of right now, but they might be overweight and then they get a scare. Then they're like, okay, I've got to do something about my life. Or it might be an alcoholic that's, I don't know, they was drinking all the time, they got run over, or the kidney stopped working, or something. That's how you shift the paradigm. Or it can be all of the above, but no way, none of the two is more or less effective than the other. But of course, you'd rather do it with all of the above. You'd rather do it with all of the above rather than the tragedy, the thing that's like it's almost like a last resort. It's like a last ditch attempt of shifting your paradigm is basically like all your subconscious and conscious decisions. So look, that's it, guys. Cheat codes to success. I hope that brought some value as always. We are back on Thursday. I don't think we've got any guests this week. I don't believe we have. So it's just another normal call. So we'll see you Thursday. I hope everyone has a good week, and we will see you Thursday evening. Cheers, guys.